Hello, this is Daniel Mart, and today I'm going to be doing another midnight movie review. This time around, I'm going to be doing a review for V for Vendetta, and yeah, very fast. Um, for those who don't know what a midnight movie review is, for the most part, it's reviews for cult classic films, B-level films, so good they're bad films. So yeah, and why did I choose midnight movie review? Basically because these are normally the type of movies like these cult classic films or these more underground films are normally the type of movies you see at midnight on your TV, and these are also the type of movies you would have seen back in the 70s and 80s in like a drive-in movie theater. Some of these, again, underground cult classic type of films, and V for Vendetta definitely does fall under that category as it is a pretty underrated film as a whole, and it is a cult classic film. Furthermore, this is also this is also an anniversary movie review because this movie came out on March 17, 2006. Right now it is March 21st, 2016. So I am a tad late, but whatever. Um, so yeah, anniversary review as well. So yeah, as usual, quick synopsis, likes and dislikes, and then the rate. Before that though, 10-second spoiler warning as usual, starting now. Okay, so 10 seconds are up. So for those who have yet to actually watch the movie, haven't already, please don't comment down below, but messaging me that I never gave you fair warnings. As usual, I did. And before I forget, this movie stars Hugo Weaving, Natalie Portman, Stephen Ray, Stephen Fry, John Hurt, and Tim Pigott Smith, and Rupert Graves, and Roger Allam, and Ben Mills, and Natasha Whiteman, and Sinead Cusack. And I believe that's anybody who's important. Um, so yeah. So as usual, quick synopsis, likes and dislikes, and then the rate. So basically, you have this, I guess, you have this vigilante of sorts, V, and they're living in the 2020s. It takes place in the future, so it's in 2020 something, um, and it's in Britain, and everything has more or less become oppressed. It's an oppressed society. Big Brother has run rampant, and yeah, so you have this guy V who kind of wants to liberate all the citizens of Britain. However, aside from liberating everybody in Britain, own he also has his own personal reasons as to why he wants to do this. He has special insight as to how they've been able to control this society, and he basically wants to be like, fuck this anarchy in the UK. Let's get our shit back together. And yeah, he comes across this girl named Eve, and Eve, her parents were also similar to him in the fact that they were like, fuck this anarchy in the UK, let's go rebel. Until one day her parents were taken away, and now she kind of lives alone. And not well, obviously at this point in the film, she's an adult, mid 20s to mid 30s, I want to say, maybe early 30s, but whatever. Depends how old Natalie Portman actually was, but who knows? Actually, depends. I don't know, but yeah, basically at the end, they're basically like, fuck this. The society sucks. They're pressing us, and we need to liberate the people. So fuck this. Anarchy in the UK, and remember the 5th of November, because that's when all hell breaks loose. You have Detective Filch, or yeah, I believe that's the guy's name, Filch, who is trying to. He's part of the government, and he does realize that there is something wrong with the government, but because he's so deep into the government, or because he has so many deep ties into the government, he can't really say that much negative stuff. So he's kind of in this crossroads. Like he understands that the society and the government is broken, but there's nothing really he can do about it, because if he does try to rebel, he's gonna be killed, basically. So there's also that kind of energy. And overall, really great film, and I do see why it's and this is the first time I've seen it, and it is severely underrated in my opinion. And this is the type of movie that should get more views and I'm honestly really surprised that it didn't get as many views. I mean, I'm surprised that not many people have seen it as I would expect, especially considering the type of society we live in. Considering that many of us, even in modern day, we feel oppressed on almost everything. And again, it's one of those type of films that kind of shows what could happen if we really were to be oppressed. Like most society right now, we have our freedoms, but there are certain oppressions um, put upon us. And for example, the oppressions just keep going and going and going. There may be a time where I'm not even doing videos, or who the fuck knows, I might be dead. And probably will be killed off for being a rebel. But yeah, it's one of those films like everybody talks about. They should do a film where there's some guy. Like I actually hear this often online, where people want to see a film about some guy overcoming society because society has just oppressed the shit out of them. And then there's movies like V for Vendetta, or what's this movie called? Actually had it's based on a book. 85 degrees or something like that. 48 degrees, 84 degrees. I'm just gonna search it up right now, but what the hell? Fahrenheit? No, it's not Fahrenheit 48. I am blanking the fuck out right now. What the hell? It was Fahrenheit 451, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. I mean, yes, that may deal with oppression. If I'm not mistaken, that's not the one I'm thinking. I'm just gonna search it up. Big Brother. There's an actual film, there's an actual show or franchise called Big Brother. But what the hell is this movie called? 1984. That's what it's fucking called. 1984. Yeah, I mean, like stuff like that in 1984. The actual movie called or franchise Big Brother, which apparently there is one. V for Vendetta, Fahrenheit 451, 458, whatever. People always say that this would be a great idea for these type of movies, and then these type of movies come up and nobody watches them. I mean, sure, you have like franchise films like The Hunger Games, and although they do deal with that, those are franchises. People always prefer for these, at least from what I've seen online, they say they prefer a standalone movie, and when we do get a standalone movie, many people, it gets like a lukewarm reception. But then when we get something that's out of a franchise, for example, The Hunger Games or Divergent or Maze Runner, mostly these young adult novels, people are like, yeah, that's pretty good, depending on the series, but that's pretty decent at best. So it is a pretty interesting. It is like this type of plot where just an individual coming over the government's oppression and etc. etc. It's a pretty fickle plot in my opinion, because sometimes they do it and people just don't care, and sometimes they do it and people love it. So it's one of those things that's kind of interesting in my opinion. Yeah, we'll say it's pretty interesting in my opinion. For this type of film. Overall, though, this film is actually really great. The monologues made by Hugo Weaving, and even after that, Hugo Weaving doesn't portray V all the way through. Originally there was another actor who took up the scene, how was I gonna say this? Originally Hugo Weaving wasn't V. They cast someone else. But however, James Purefoy. Okay, that I got it. James Purefoy, because I have it here in the trivia. He was originally cast as V. However, like halfway into production, they were like, you know what, we could do better. They got Hugo Weaving, and I guess they kind of voiced up his voice over Purefoy. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting from what I read and just saw. So yeah, I mean, but I will say that the acting as a whole is great. Hugo Weaving as V is great. He has some really great monologues. It's one of those films where you really do notice the monologues. And normally, people are I see characters talking, and sure there'll be monologues where they just talk for about 2 minutes, and you're like, okay, and then next time you kind of don't realize that they are monologues. You're like, yeah, they're monologues, I suppose. But it's one of those films where you realize the monologues and really impact the monologues, and it's very great in my opinion. great monologues, some really insightful monologues as a whole. So yeah, and again, this is adapted from the comic of V for Vendetta, the graphic novel. So I'm assuming some of those monologues could have come from the graphic novel. So yeah, I mean, overall, really well written, really well acted, really well underrated. So yeah, I mean, and there's also some pretty cool special effects here. There's some gruesome deaths. And yeah, I mean, the way I kind of pictured V for Vendetta, even before I watched the movie, is if Zorro, decided to wear a Guy Fawkes mask and was in an oppressed society. That's basically V for Vendetta. I mean, it's basically Zorro with a Guy Fawkes costume in an oppressed society. So yeah, I mean, actually, that'd be pretty interesting. V versus Zoro. That'd be actually pretty interesting. Um, Overall, I liked the movie. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, it is really underrated. I do see why it is a cult classic amongst films. So yeah, that's basically it for now. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Before I forget, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, and 6 being decent, I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. The action scenes are actually pretty incredible. I will say the start, although it was great, I will say it is a tad slow compared to the rest of the film. I will say there's like, uh, although it is well paced, at the same time it's like a slow burn. It's a weird combination. I really don't know how to describe it. Um, yeah, but overall, it's still a great movie. So 8.5 out of 10 is what I'd give V for Vendetta. And yeah, that's basically it for now. Subscribe, comment down below, like the video, share on Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or whatever you prefer. And that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.